All right, now we need to start placing some text. So I'm going to close the Pages panel there for now. And I'm going to zoom in, Control or Command plus on the keyboard. And in the previous poster project, we did place some text, but we'll go into a lot more detail in this project. So let's go to File, Place, and navigate to the Lookbook folder in the support files, and go to Text, and click Wintercrest Ski Resort, and click Open. And this is just a fictional ski resort I've made up. I've snowboarded in Wintergreen, Virginia, and also Crested Butte, Colorado, so I kind of combined those two and just made up Wintercrest Ski Resort for this course. So again, it does show the beginning of this text, and if we just click and drag, it will place it. I'm going to press Control or Command Z to undo that though, because I want to show you using columns with this. So if I just click and let go, it'll place that text. But we have what's called overset text. What that means is there's more text to be placed here. If I click and drag down, we can see it. And so we need to either make this text frame larger or flow this text somewhere else, which is called threading. And down there, it says one error. So if I double click on that, it'll tell me, well, we've got overset text, and we can click here and it would navigate to page 4 where we already are. So let's go ahead and flow the rest of this text. It's called threading. So I'm going to click that red plus sign and then click and drag down on this one. I'm going to make it aligned so it snaps into place right along this column. If yours is not doing that, just go to View and then Grid and Guides, and then make sure Snap to Guides is checked. You can also unlock column guides there. If I click that, I can actually move column guides. That's how we do that, but I want these to be consistent. So I'm actually going to go back there and click Lock Column Guides. So let's continue to place this in. By the way, I repeat some of this text. We're not really placing an actual article. I just type some text in. So we have 4 columns now. Notice they're not aligned at the bottom or the top. So one way to do that is hover over the ruler at the top and click and drag down. If you don't have the rulers, again, you can go to View and then Show Rulers. And so these are aligned. Looks like they're aligned at the top here. Just confirming that. Another way to align is we could just click and drag like this top line here. Let me zoom in here and show you what I mean. See how that's right along the bottom of all that text. So the top is aligned, but there's some innate formatting here from Word that we don't really need, and we'll be going over how to adjust that. There's a little bit of space in between the paragraphs, for example. We really want to control all of that in InDesign. So we will be adjusting this text so it aligns at the bottom as well. But for now, we know it aligns at the top, and that's fine. We'll notice we have some space here that could be filled with the article if we wanted. So we could actually click and drag these down, and these frames act similar to other types of frames in that we can click and drag a corner, and we can click and drag a side to resize it. For example, click and drag the top there, click and drag a corner, and so on. So if I want to select all these at the same time and resize them, if I click and drag like that and then click, it just moves it, right? That's not what we want. We actually want to make sure to click and drag right in the middle here where that little box is, that square. Click and drag that up. Then we can see how tall these columns should be if we want them to be aligned here and consistent. So that looks pretty good so far. We'll fix this with the formatting, but that's our text. So the text comes in here, so that's the input, and then the output here, this goes from here over to here. So what's neat about this is I could move these wherever. Say we had a different kind of layout, and I click enter. It moves it all down. So it's not like these are separate unlinked text frames, they are threaded together. So it's really convenient in editorial design when we're inserting text, changing the text formatting, making it larger, and then it pushes the rest of the text down instead of just not showing up at the bottom there. So if I click here and click this arrow, I could actually replace this column here. So if I click that and click and drag, something like that, you'll see it actually brought this back over to the third column because I made this second column larger. So I'm going to undo that. So if I made it smaller, like that, now it goes from here to here, to here, to here, to here. So then we have 5 text frames. So I'm going to press escape so we don't rethread that. If we want to see where our text threads are, if we weren't sure, we could go to View and then Extras and then Show Text Threads. So if I click that, now it makes it obvious. Then this won't print out, obviously, just like the margins and the columns won't print out either. It's just to show us where text is going. And this would be helpful if we had a more non-traditional layout that had less alignment. And it should be obvious to the reader, though, where to read next. So if it's so difficult to know where the rest of the text goes, I would say work on the design there so that it's obvious where the reader should look next in terms of the flow of the article. But this is helpful just to make sure where the text is threading. So I'm going to turn that off because I don't really need that in this example. Hide text threads. That's just one way to place an article. We'll be going over more advanced features, but by the way, if you ever are placing some text in or you need some text to be part of just an idea of a layout that you're creating, you can click and drag a text frame out and then go to type and then fill with placeholder text, and that will add some latinate text just to fill the space to give an idea of what the design looks like. Go ahead and save changes by going to File and then Save, and the next lecture we'll be going over formatting paragraphs.